Why should or must the SoCal community attend the world premiere of Prelude to a Kiss, the musical, at South Coast Repertory Theater?
I just think if you want to hear a good song and a good story, and if you want to remember what it feels like to be young and in love, I mean, who doesn't want to feel that? And I think we get to watch, we get to experience that vicariously through these characters and in this world. And yeah, I just think I think it's also important that just coming together as an audience, like coming together with other people. It's sort of what the show is about, and people are sort of living that by just gathering in any group together and sharing something that's life affirming and love affirming. And yeah, I just think I think it's just hard being human, and we should take all the joy we can. Hi, I'm Daniel Messé. I'm the composer and co-lyricist of Prelude to a Kiss. And if you want to learn more about Prelude to a Kiss, the musical, listen to this conversation.
So, when did you hear about the play Prelude to the Kiss, and why did you want to get involved with the team to make this into a musical?
The first time I heard about Prelude to a Kiss was from one of my first collaborators ever when I came to New York, a woman named Mindy Dixie, a wonderful lyricist. And she was telling me how she, like, this show is something that she'd always wanted to adapt. And I actually sought it out. Originally, I could only see the movie, but eventually I went to Lincoln Center and saw it, in the library. And it's what's magical about this piece is that it is so naturalistic, despite the magic. Like there is this real magic that takes place. But other than that kiss, it's really in many ways a very real story about real people falling in love and then trying whatever they can to safeguard that love. I can't imagine a better world to have a musical in, and because it's got both the authentic emotion and this magical realism that I think you kind of need just to believe that people are going to sing their thoughts. That's always the moment where, like, when the audience first hear a character go from scene to song is such an important moment, because I know most of the time I just am like cringing inside every time it happens. It's one of the reasons why I love through song musicals. It can't work unless the story is based in reality and at the same time totally fantastical.
Just for the audience, tell us at least the beginning of Prelude to Kiss as it first starts.
It starts at a party where we have two reluctant party goers. Rita, who lives in the building and was just, she can't sleep. She can never sleep, but especially when there's this party going on. So she sort of was wandered up to the roof where this party is. And Peter happens to be there, and who also doesn't want to be there, and he's leaving. And this mutual friend brings them together. And that's the other thing I love about Craig's writing, is that he doesn't gloss over the falling in love part. It's not just like, oh, these people fell in love and then they're in love. Like, we see them fall in love and it feels believable. Like I'm rooting for this couple because I saw them apart, and then I saw them, put their Venn diagram together, and what they formed together is something really magical and special.
You mentioned Craig. You worked with him more than once. Why do you like working? Why do you like his writing? What is unique about him?
Well, as I mentioned, it's the way that he is able to create these worlds that are really based on our real lives, but at the same time, they are full of moments of heightened reality where it's believable that people would be singing. For me, at least, it's believable that people are singing these emotions. And I just find in all of his work, there is that combination of authentic emotion and heightened realism, or heightened experience, I guess, that is just, it's catnip for a songwriter.
Talking about songs, can you talk about a couple of the songs in the musical? I know you mentioned in an article, Age of Anxiety, that you said we really figured out the show and the magic because of that song.
Yeah, it's Love in the Age of Anxiety was definitely the moment where we really sort of figured out the tone of the show. It's the first time where I was able to really get the sort of strong melody I want without losing the descriptions that we needed it to do. Like we need to show this world that is kind of, that's hard. It's hard to be human and be, surrounded by other humans. It's a hard road. And at the same time, it's other humans that make it worthwhile to be in this world. So how do we express that in song? And I think we captured it. It's got just the right amount of danger, but beauty most of all.
Any other song you want to mention any other ones you want to mention that you really are looking forward to the audience to hear?
Yes, there's a lot of songs that I really love in the show. We just had the Sitzprobe, which is where the actors sing for the first time with the band. And, it's for a songwriter, there's no better day than the day when you hear this thing that's been in your head all this time finally realized, sonically at least. And one of the songs that blew me away today was called Map of Us. It's a song, I would call it a Talmudic song in that it's about the show and it's not actually furthering any specific action. You could have maybe one of them in a show without losing the audience. But for me, they really comment on what's really happening. And in this case, it's the lengths that people will go to safeguard love and to protect the love that they built with someone. And it takes place at the lowest moment for many of these characters in this particular story. And it's a triumphant song that really, I think, propels the show into its second act.
Would you like to talk about the cast? You just heard them sing. So tell us about this cast that's bringing your songs in the play alive.
Well, the entire cast, it's really a privilege. It's such a choral piece too. It's, many voices a lot of the time. I just love that sound of people singing together. A group singing together. And it allows for a lot of fun to be had texturally. And so I think that anyone who comes to see this show will leave singing a song. That much I know. It is full of, very hooky songs.
Talk about director David Ivers. Not only he's the director, but he's artistic director, and he kind of guided this full production through many obstacles with COVID and all like that. So tell us about how he's been pushing this from the very beginning and how he's been helping this grow.
Well, David and everyone at South Coast Rep have been amazing. I mean, this would not be happening if it wasn't for that theater and that artistic director in particular. Like they were just never an option. Like during COVID and stuff, we would get a call once a month from him saying, "Don't worry, soon as lockdown's over, we're starting up again." And he was true to his word. And I mean, what a gift to be able to give to a group of writers, and especially given that South Coast Rep originally commissioned the play Prelude to a Kiss. So to be able to do it, the world premiere at the same theater that the play premiered at is really special. I can't think of another place where that happened. I'm sure it has though. And again, it's such a collaborative space to build a new musical. And David has built a wonderful team. We have a wonderful choreographer named Julie Rhodes, who's a Chicago choreographer who does a lot of like dance theater stuff. And we really built the show together in the room. And I've never really been in a process that was that, come on gang, let's put together a show sort of feeling. And I think it comes across. I hope it does.
What do you want the audience to get out of Prelude to the Kiss?
I want them to feel alive, basically. I want them to feel what I feel when I watch it, which is just grateful to have a heart and a voice and ears. It's just there's some things that I think, everyone has the thing that makes them feel alive. For me, it's always songs and theater and and what art can do. It just the world becomes technicolor when you're living in that sort of space, and it becomes harder and harder to be able to capture that. It's such a childhood feeling, and as we get older, I think it's really easy to start sleepwalking through your life, and and I know it is for me at least. And so anything that makes me feel that alive and that connected to other people I'm going to do whatever I can to nurture that and to make it happen more.
What are you looking forward when you sit down in the audience with the rest of the theater goers and watch Prelude to the Kiss, the musical?
Again, I'm looking for magic and melody. I know it's corny to say, but it's really what it is. I love songs that feel good to sing, feel good to listen to. And it's not necessarily, it doesn't mean necessarily simple. Like I think Adam Guettel, for example, I think writes incredible melodies, and they're very complex. This is not that at all. This is I think anyone who likes any kind of music will find something that they like here. But ultimately, I want them to feel alive and feel how incredibly lucky we are to be here now and just to experience a wonderful group of people giving everything to make a connection with the audience.
Anything else about Prelude and Kiss, the musical, that you want to make sure the audience knows about?
No. Well, again, this is the first performance in front of a live paying audience coming up, and it's going to be constantly worked on during previews. We're going to be putting in new songs. So what do I want to say? I guess I want people to see it multiple times so they can see all the different developments. I think it's such a fascinating thing to see a show, begin its life and where it ends up. I just find that endlessly interesting. And a lot of times it doesn't get better. It's not a straight shot up. You make wrong turns, and that's part of the process. And again, there's something about seeing an audience react to something that you just put in, and even if it doesn't work, it's always interesting to me. Something that I think wouldn't work goes over incredibly well with the audience, and the opposite as well. And again, it's that ability of my collaborators to join me in just trusting that we're going to continue to work on it until it's working. But right now, I'm pretty happy with how it's working. We'll see when the audience gets there. I am Daniel Messé. I'm the composer and co-lyricist of Prelude to a Kiss, the musical. You guys come and join me in connecting with this incredible show and connecting with your audience members and the actors. I think that attending live theater is a real act of faith in this day and age, and I just think that we're incredibly lucky to have this opportunity, and to be a part of this community is something that I'll treasure for the rest of my life. See you at the theater.